when was the best time to plant a tree? They said it was 100 years ago, and the second best time is today.
Yeah.
And crypto is the same way. And by 2038, $50,000 into Bitcoin right now, if Bitcoin hits that billion like what's projected, that would be $588 million. That would be over $500 million.
Welcome.
Yeah.
What up, D Hustle?
What's going on?
Yo, we got a full day's worth of podcasting, bro.
We in Miami.
We in Miami still.
I'm ready to go to the beach.
You ready to go to the beach?
I'm ready.
We only got about an hour left.
Now it's still good.
You're still good. Anyways, as you all know, we are backstage here at the Black Wealth Summit, holding it down at Florida Memorial University, which is the only HBCU in South Florida. I've been saying it all day and definitely want to inspire all of you to get connected, get plugged in, because this summit has been impactful. And we got a special guest.
What we got?
The host of the event.
No way.
The one that introduced everybody.
We always got to save the best for last.
Best
right?
for last. Let's go ahead and say welcome Cyrus to the stage. What's up, Cyrus?
Yo, what's going on?
What's going on, my brother? It's so nice to meet you in person. Yeah. Definitely, I've been following along online. Your journey is definitely noteworthy, impactful. And we're going to jump right into it. So, as y'all know, audience, I've been pulling speakers off the stage as they lit the stage, come backstage and give us some more insights. Cyrus is going to give us some insights in terms of just how it was feeling to be a host, right? Yeah. So how did you like the event? How did it feel being hosting the event?
It was incredible. I mean, I've been a part of, I can't even count how many events in my life, but this was the first time I would say, like, when I saw the lineup, and then when I saw like the order that the lineup was happening, I was like, ooh, I understand. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, what's that guy's name? Is it that guy on social media who's going viral? Who he always makes all his shots. His name is something Shooter. So, like, you have to check out his content. Like, this guy makes every shot, every trick shot.
He was laying in a or laying on the court on the bed and then threw it all the way to the. Yes, I seen him. Yeah.
So he has his slogan is "I understand it now." And so when I looked at the lineup, I was like, "Yo, I understand what they're doing." And I mean, it was incredible because usually when I'm at events, there might be 2 to 3 speakers at the event where the topic they're talking about, I'm like, oh, that's valuable. Like, I was just at an event in Dubai. I wasn't hosting. I was one of the speakers. I was at an event in Dubai, and I felt like myself and one of the speakers were the only people that were talking about something that actually matters. Like, matters in the sense of, and that's not to put anyone down, but it's like a lot of people typically talk about things where it's like, that's already seen its heyday. That's kind of like a thing that's kind of dead and gone, or it's something that isn't new to the market. It isn't fresh. And so today was the first time, like, every person, I looked at the lineup, I looked at what they were talking about. And then even when they came up to speak, they dropped more nuggets than I even expected them to drop.
Yeah.
So it was incredible. I truly would say this was the greatest lineup that I've seen. And the topics, I mean, from artificial intelligence to how to monetize your podcast. And I make good money from podcasting, and even I got a wealth of knowledge from it. Yeah. Obviously not just AI, because it's like, I'm gonna be real. Even when I saw that someone was going to be speaking about AI, this is going to sound crazy. I was actually at first not disappointed, but I was kind of underwhelmed at first. The reason why is because, as you can imagine, I'm at event after event after event where everyone's talking about AI.
Everybody's talking about it.
But this was refreshing because she truly was teaching on how to use it and how to even have AI employees and highlight each of those individual employees and their duties and their tasks. And I was like, okay, that is something that I haven't seen someone actually teaching at an event. Now, I know behind the scenes people teach this stuff, but I'm like, man, she's actually giving this sauce at the event. And it was just incredible. To the person I was speaking about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, same thing. My thought was, oh yeah, I'm an investor in crypto. I understand crypto. But the way she was breaking it down, I literally right there on the spot, I started investing some more money. I said, let me go ahead and invest some more money.
He was like, yo, let me put some more into it.
Welcome to Black Wealth Summit 2025, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, and so it's one of those things where I just can't see a world where anyone left here not making more money.
Yeah.
It's like the only way a person could come here and not make any money is if they just don't do anything.
Yeah.
If they just allow the information, which happens, they just allow the information to just kind of sit in their head and they get hyped up because they want to post that they were at an event, but they don't actually apply anything. Because the cool thing about this event is almost kind of like take your pick. Whichever speaker and topic and money making opportunity people want to go after, it's like all of them are solid picks.
Facts.
Solid picks. No fluff, no hype, no emotion, just genuine value.
Facts. And that's the thing that I'm taking away from it too, in terms of that value that's provided. Because you are right. We talked about stocks. We talked about properties. We talked about Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. We talked about AI. I mean, it's definitely one of those feelings like I walked away feeling like I'm leveling up.
Yeah.
Like, and the reason why we had the Backstage is also highlighting the things that you need to do actionable, not just come to the conference and listen, but like you said, you got to take action. So if you're walking away with a bag of knowledge that are opening up that opportunity for you to create that pathway to financial freedom, but also building generational wealth. Yeah, big shout outs to you. Now, one of the podcast guests that we had, Brendan from the Podcast Expert, my guy came in here. He killed it. He dropped some gems. So what was, in terms of his presentation, his content that really resonated with you? Because you run a well-known podcast that if y'all don't know, y'all need to check my guy out for sure.
Yeah, it was a lot of value as to what he gave. I would say one thing that really stood out to me was, packaging your content and selling it to the guest, because our content is top tier with my podcast. Shouts out to my production team.
Yeah, big
shouts
round of
out
applause
to Eric Bates at E-Bates Production. That being said, time and time again, it's gotten to the point now on my podcast that people are like, it's on their bucket list to be on the podcast. I mean, several times people have come on the podcast and they're like, man, this is a dream come true. I always seen that time and time again, and I never even thought about, because when it comes to, I've had people on the podcast, usually when it's business owners, and I know that they're trying to pitch their business or their service, is usually when I've charged. Mm-hmm. And I never thought about, because obviously we have a large audience. So usually my mind is just mainly thinking about, okay, the audience and the content. I usually just kind of have it bundled together, but kind of thinking it through the way he put it, I was like, well, technically we could separate it, because there are some people that don't care about the content.
Yeah.
They just want to be on our podcast because they know we have a large audience, and they're like, yo, we're going to reach a large audience.
Yeah, yeah.
But then there's other people who have a relatively large audience already, but they're launching a new business, product, or service, or they have it, but they need the information about their business or their story or what they're doing with their co-founders. They need that information recorded and packaged up so that way they could have it on their website, maybe for investors or maybe as something to post for new clients or prospects that come on their site. And so just kind of thinking it through, that was a piece that really stuck out to me, where I was like, what, we could actually kind of separate it where we have an a la carte option where it's like, hey, you can just literally get the podcast as well as get the content. Mm-hmm. But now I'm like, well, technically we could kind of like, we could have a bundle, and we could have it to where it's like, what do you actually care about?
Yeah.
Because, let's say you only really care about the interview and you don't really care for the content or the clips. You're like, yo, I just want to be interviewed and I want y'all to post it. Okay, cool. We could break it down that way. Or if it's someone that's like, yo, you could post it. I don't care. I just really want the interview and I want the content.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't either have production teams, or even if they get a production team, they don't even really know how to communicate exactly what they want. So that's one of the value adds of a podcast, is that usually the team, like even yourselves, like myself, I came in here, I don't have to think through anything with the equipment or what's being recorded or audio or, okay, how is this going to be edited later? I don't have to think about those things.
Yeah.
And so that's the ease of someone, especially, and I'm a person that knows these things, but it's 10 times more complex for a person that doesn't have my knowledge.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's value on value. Like, so he broke that down. That was beautiful. He did a great job breaking down the affiliate piece. That's been something that's been huge for us. I didn't know he was going to talk about the street interview, monetizing street interviews. That's actually a huge piece that people don't know about.
Yeah.
So yeah, he honestly just went in.
Yeah,
he went in on that piece.
Yeah, they give him a round of applause, Brandon. Yeah, for sure. And then talking about another guest that we've had backstage with BobbyD, Michelle, talking about crypto.
Yeah.
So how long have you been in crypto? Like you talk about you are diversifying, also straight up increasing your investment. But how do you feel about crypto?
Yeah, so crypto is phenomenal. I would say that, I mean, like everyone else, we all wish we got in sooner. It's like,
facts.
Man. But crypto is one of those spaces where it's like that quote where they say, when was the best time to plant a tree? They said it was 100 years ago, and the second best time is today.
Yeah.
And crypto is the same way where, let me say what she said that really blew me away. And I knew this. It's kind of like sometimes we need like we need someone to tell us what we know. But when they say it, it's just like, oh, duh. Like, I know that. But it's like, why did I not think about that?
Facts.
And so the statement she said, because in terms of my investments in crypto, I have some investments in Ethereum. I have some in XRP is currently my biggest portfolio is XRP. I got some in Dogecoin and a couple others. That being said, I actually had none in Bitcoin, which I know sounds crazy. But the reason why I had none in Bitcoin is because I was like, I missed that boat. Bitcoin is already, a month and a half ago, it was a little over $100,000.
Yeah, 108, I believe it peaked at.
Yeah, so in my mind, I was like, man, what am I about to do? Am I about to buy $20,000 of Bitcoin, which means I'm only going to own 1/5 of a Bitcoin? I'm like, what is that? I'm like, no, I want to put my money into XRP when it's $2.10. So that way, when it goes up to $10,000, that's the way my mind is thinking. But when she just said it simply, she said, yo, Bitcoin is projected to go to $1 billion by 2038.
Facts.
She said that, my mind thought about it, and I was like, well, if it's going to go to $1 billion, I did the math right there on the spot. And I was like, yo, okay, I looked up how much Bitcoin is today. Today it's at roughly $85,000 at the time of this recording. And I was like, okay, if I put in, let's just say I slide in $50,000 into Bitcoin. And I'm like, okay, let's say I shuffle, and let's say I'm smooth about it. Let's say I shuffle $10,000 a month into it, or $5,000 a month if I'm trying to be conservative. And then either way, let's say, okay, within 6 to 10 months, I would have $50,000 in it. And let's say at that point, maybe it's back at 100,000, whatever. Either way, I did the math, and by 2038, $50,000 into Bitcoin right now, if Bitcoin hits that billion like what's projected, that would be $588 million. That would be over $500 million. So I'm not gonna lie, like her topic, it actually rewired my thinking and my plans. Like I never have been at an event where I heard someone say something and it made me rewire my plans of wealth, of how I'm gonna become wealthy. And so, because it's like I'm rich right now, but it's like I'm not rich. I'm rich.
He's good.
I'm good. I'm real good out here. I'm blessed. I'm way further than I ever imagined ever in my life I was going to be financially. That being said, it's like, in my head I'm like, okay, well, all right, in my mind my goal is, people talk about like, FU money. And in my mind, my goal has always been, okay, how do I get to $100 million? Either $100 million or some type of business or service where I'm generating about $10 million a month. I'm like, how do I get to $10 million a month? And then to really sit back and be like, wait. So if I just put $50,000 into this thing, I could continue doing all the stuff I'm doing money wise, continue living life, and let's say I never get to, let's say I never even get to like $1 million a month, because that's my real benchmark. My real benchmark goal is, okay, I will feel as a man, and this is myself.
Yeah.
I will feel proud of myself if I get to $1 million a month. That's in my head. That's my goal. And so, But I'm like, wait, even if I don't hit that, if I just slide 50,000 into this, I could continue doing what I'm doing. I could hustle and bustle. And maybe I get to that M a month. Maybe I get to 10 M's a month.
Yeah.
Maybe I get to 50. I mean, who knows what could happen?
Yeah.
But it's like, what a backup plan. Even if I don't.
Facts.
Even if I don't, in the back of my mind, I could be like, if everything fails and falls through, I'm about to be a $500 million either way.
Still.
That's why it messed my head up. It completely rewired all of my thinking and my plans. I was like, you know what? Bump that. I'm about to put $50,000 to $100,000 in Bitcoin. I'm going to let it sit. And maybe, depending on how it's going, I might just go ahead and be like, okay, cool. I'll slide an extra 5,000 in every single month, 10,000 into every month, and let it do its thing. Yeah. So it really just kind of because I never thought, like, my investments into crypto has always just been a sense of like, okay, it's going up, it's going to be good. Yeah. Maybe it'll make me a couple million in my life, which will be straight. That's not FU money, but that's good. That's really good money. But I never thought like, oh no, I'm really gonna like make that something where it's like, no, this is how I'm gonna have wealth. Until she made, and it was such a simple statement. She broke so many things down. It was that simple reality that just I felt stupid that I didn't even think about that. I was like, man, I feel crazy. But I mean, that's the wonder. That's the value of being in spaces like this and being in rooms like this and learning from people like who were here at Black Wealth Summit.
100%. And you are not lying, because after she had that talk, I called her backstage because, I'm about to scoop her to come to the podcast. And I said, what you said is going to impact people's lives, because if they were listening, they would catch it. And the thing is that she had a way of explaining it. And this is probably some of the things that our community has is like, if it's not explained in a way that we can understand it, and it go over our head.
Yeah.
Or we might be thinking about it. And but when somebody can speak our language, talk the way we talk. Like we was on a podcast and we was talking about who carries cash. And he's like, I got to carry cash. I'm from Chicago. I'm like, mindset wise, that just connects to me. And that just gives me that insight. And then that allows me to really receive the message that she was delivering. And you are right. The mindset shift that this conference has given us, I hope people were listening. I hope y'all are tuning in. Y'all got to check the backstage episodes, because it's definitely going to give us those opportunities to create that long-term wealth. We don't want to be rich. We want to create that long generational wealth. For sure.
Exactly.
That's what's up. Also heard you mentioned something about, so I'm off the tech scene. I used to work at Twitter for a good minute. So you said something that really resonated with me. And I know this is in your lane specifically about getting people into tech, getting into the industry. Is not only just chasing the base salary, but finding ways to get equity, because you gave us some information about NVIDIA.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So NVIDIA, specifically on what I said. So NVIDIA, 78% of NVIDIA's employees are millionaires right now. They're employees, clock in, clock out, W-2, whatever. 78% are millionaires. Out of that 78%, over 50% of them are decamillionaires, and specifically over 50% of them are worth $25 million right now. And so now the question is, why is that? Well, aside from their high-paying salaries, part of their total comp, because total, people think about salary, but you have to also consider total compensation, which our community doesn't think about. No. Even our community that's getting into tech don't think about. No. When I got my first tech job, all my eyeballs, what do we do? All our eyeballs look at is like, how much am I to get paid? How much am I to get paid? Fact. And so my eyeballs, because again, my first time getting in tech, my first tech job, I still was carrying over that old mindset of, okay, I see all these numbers, I see all this other stuff, whatever. I don't care about no 401k and blah, blah, blah. Like, what, like, I'm at that age now where I'm starting to care about that stuff. But, when you in like your 20s and early 20s.
Hey, you trying to stack it up.
You like, what? What the fuck? Retire? What? Nah, I'm good. Like, dental.
Yeah.
Man, I'm good out here. That being said, my eyes skimmed past it at my first company. And I was like, okay, cool, $90,000. That's cool. But it wasn't until I started hearing my coworkers, who were predominantly white and Asian, hearing them talk about their stock options, and like none of them ever were talking about their salary.
Facts.
And at first I was confused. I'm like, why are they talking about this? And they were like, yeah, I'm gonna do this and XYZ, my equity I got, and I was like, why? But I learned enough to start to realize. I said, yo, if this is what they're talking about, there's something about this that we just never hear about in our community.
Facts.
And I remember a friend of mine, it's kind of like a little bit of a beeline, but a friend of mine invited me to one of those Forex events. And not specifically, I want to separate it, not specifically Forex, but it was one of the MLM events that they, of course, were attaching to Forex at the time.
Yeah.
And I remember when this is way before I was in tech. I remember he invited me, and I looked in the room, and it was probably about 1,500 people in the room. I looked in the room. I hate to say this, but it's the truth. I looked around, and there were two things I noticed. One, I noticed that everyone in the room looked like they were going to court. And what I meant by that is none of them looked like they had tailored suits. Yeah. All their suits looked baggy, loose, or they were too tight. The only people in the room who actually looked like they had money were the people on stage. So to me, that was red flag number one. I said, okay, yes, a lot of people here. You know, sometimes people get hype off something, it's a lot of people. I'm like, okay, it's a lot of people, but the only people in here who like they're doing well are the people that are on the stage. That was number one. The second thing was that I said, look, if this is as big a money-making opportunity as y'all talking about, how come ain't no white people in here? How come ain't no Asians up in here? I was like, nah, I don't believe this.
Yeah.
So kind of using that same framework and that same mindset is what I was realizing when I was in these rooms of these different tech companies. And I was like, okay, I'm in rooms now hearing these other communities talking here, what they talk about and what their money moves are. And I was like, they keep talking about this equity stuff and their stock options. So I started looking into it, and that's when I started realizing, like, whoa, it's cute to have a $110,000, $140,000, $50,000 salary. But I'm like, yo, depending on the company you're at and depending on the equity and the way the stock is performing, you could become a millionaire. And that was when it just truly opened my eyes. And I said, yo, we're hustling the wrong way. And so shouts out to my homeboy, Tavion, Tay on Tech on social media. He's a young dude still in his 20s. And he's either a millionaire right now or he's going to be a millionaire within the next few months. And that is through his equity. Like he chooses companies based off of how you know how people choose their stocks or their investments based off of their predictions of how a company is going to perform. He chooses the company he's going to work at based off of his prediction of how the company is going to perform. Because he looks at the equity and he's like, ooh, I'm going to jump to that company. So, because, you know, we talk about equity and investments, and it's like, yeah, you can, right now, people have to take their own money and put it into a company or put it into the stock market, into the index fund, S&P 500, whatever. But it's like, if you're at a company, you don't have to put your money into it. The company is giving you stock in equity. So it's almost like you getting a 6-figure salary, and the bonus on the side is that they're going to give you stocks into their company or equity into their company. And so again, going back to NVIDIA, the same guy, same homeboy I'm talking about, he had an option to work at NVIDIA, or he had an option to work at a company by the name of Ripple. He chose Ripple. At first, he was disappointed because he saw what happened with NVIDIA. He was like, "Oh man, I probably should." I
wish I caught that wave too.
But you know, for those that are you know listening to this, look up what Ripple owns. The company he chose to work at. Ripple is the creator of XRP, and XRP is one of the top performing cryptocurrencies right now. And so that's why he's about to be a millionaire this year, because of, again, going back to his stock options that he has, and the kind of pair it together, the equity he has in his company. Ripple is paying him his stocks are paid in cryptocurrency.
Wow.
So it's not just equity in a company that's a rocket ship.
Yeah.
The equity is specifically in cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
So it's like literally he's and then on top of that he has a high 6-figure salary as well. Yeah. So it's like he's getting the bag from tech, he's getting the bag from stock options, and he's getting the bag from cryptocurrency just from working at one company.
Wow.
So it's crazy. It's crazy, honestly.
Wow. These pathways to generational wealth and wealth in general, if you are aware of them and can use them, we can get there sooner. We can get there faster.
Yeah.
But we have to be mindful of it. And also not chasing the wrong thing. Like chasing a salary or a base salary is not the right. Like when you're telling me he's looking at not portfolio for the investment, but portfolio where he's going to spend his time at because they're going to give him that. That's hard right there.
Yeah.
That's hard right there for sure.
You know, I want to say something else to that. The other thing about it that's amazing is because, you know, we hear the quote all the time that the average millionaire has 7 streams of income.
Yeah.
We hear it often. And unfortunately, that quote or the misunderstanding of that quote is another reason I believe that's been keeping our people back. Because when I go to different events, not like an event today, but usually when I'm at entrepreneurial events or business events, when I meet people and they give me their cards or I ask them what they do, they're like, I'm a real estate investor. I also own a tour business. I also do Airbnb. I also do this. I also do that. And I'm like, and you're broke. Like, you know, like you're, and they're like, what do you do? I'm in tech. And they're like, oh man, but you're living like this. Yes. Cause I'm locked in with this one thing.
Yeah.
So to clear up the quote for people that have heard it and don't understand it, when they say that the average millionaire has 7 streams of income, the other part of it they don't express is that that's not how they became a millionaire. That's the misunderstanding. The misunderstanding is, the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. Therefore, in order to become a millionaire, I must have 7 streams of income. No. The average millionaire became a millionaire through usually 1 at the max 2 streams of income. And then once they got to a certain level is when they started diversifying their revenue streams. And of course, you know, at that point they have enough money, they could hire a team to kind of lock things in, and then they're able to scale from there. So people who don't have a certain amount of money, and even if you are making, you know, $100,000, $120,000, starting 2-3 things or doing 2 or 3 other things at the same time is only going to keep you back because you're spreading yourself thin.
Facts.
Versus locking in with one specific thing. Now, the reason why I bring that up to tie it back into what I said, the irony is that using my friend as an example, and I can use myself as an example as well, but that's the beauty of when you're at a solid company where it's like now you are technically getting different streams of income, but it's from you working at one company. So it's not you doing 3 or 4 different things. It's literally you working at one company. They pay you a high salary, so that's one stream of income. They give you amazing stock options within the company as well. That's a second stream of income as well. And so it's just it's dope, honestly.
That's what's up. Man, you dropping some gems. Give him another gem, right?
Too much gems, Ken. The whole conversation gonna be gems.
You know? So I should have done the whole conference. What are you talking about? Shoot, not just the host. I need my guy up there telling us this knowledge. But yo, we're coming to the end of our conversation here. This is an opportunity definitely to plug in any resources and things that you have. So tell us a little bit about what you got going on.
Yeah, man. So for those that are not familiar, so I'm the founder of Tech is the New Black. We are the largest tech career and tech business podcast in the world. Not largest black owned, we're the largest, which is dope. We actually found that out because we saw the Forbes top 10 list, and my team was the Forbes top 10 list of tech podcasts. And I looked at it and I'm like, we're larger than all of them combined. And so we hit up Forbes and we like, y'all need to next year, y'all need to get this.
Yeah, I need to go do some fact checks.
For real. And so, but that being said, we've helped several thousands of people get in the industry. Somewhere near 10,000 people get tech careers without degrees or experience being necessary. That being said, since then we have launched Scale in Tech, which is essentially on the front end, it seems as if it's a boot camp, but we actually have something that's called job placement assistance, where because our platform, we're blessed with a very large platform with a large network, mainly through our podcast. Our podcast has given us a lot of deep relationships. We have a lot of relationships with recruiters and hiring managers whose companies actually are hiring.
Yeah.
So with our job placement assistance, what a lot of people don't know when it comes to getting jobs, especially high paying jobs, you know, people oftentimes say like, oh, well, I'm applying to all of these companies, no one's hiring or no one's interviewing me. But what people don't realize is that when these companies are getting applications, especially the larger companies, even a mid-sized company today, when they are opening up applications for a role, or they're opening up a role and they're getting applications, they look at applications based on certain sequences.
Yeah.
Sequence number 1, let me actually ask y'all really quickly. when a company puts up a job posting, who do you believe applications they look at first?
So I think, and this is kind of from just experience, is that they look internally.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's accurate. They look internally. All right. Do you know what they look at then after that?
I would say that it would be referrals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then after that?
After referrals would be, I would say the recruiters network in terms of who they can reach out to or services that they're using.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So exactly.
Man, I'm getting an A+ here.
Yeah. So the recruiter piece, that sometimes could be looked at as like internal referrals. Yeah. Almost on the same level. So yeah, so the reason why most people aren't getting any opportunities even for an interview is because they're definitely not an internal referral, but on top of they're not an internal employee. Yeah. But on top of that, they're also not an internal referral. Yep. But then the third piece is that they are not a top candidate for the role. Now, people don't even know how to actually make sure they're a top candidate. People typically think that, oh, well, I have these skills, the company's hiring for it, so technically I'm a top candidate, and that's not true at all. People don't understand how to leverage their transferable skills and their domain expertise at the same time. So, for example, if someone has a healthcare background, but let's say they're looking to get into a tech sales role, for example. That's low-hanging fruit. Tech sales role. Typically what I see is that they will go to any type of tech sales opening, which is okay. Yeah. But it's like, yo, you have this healthcare background. You know there are a lot of health tech companies.
Facts.
If the health tech companies are hiring for a tech sales role, you could be a top candidate because you not only have the skills that they're looking for, but you have the expertise within that healthcare field of what they're looking for as well. So now you outrank everyone else because from your resume, your cover letter, your LinkedIn, if everything shows you as a within that domain, now you outrank everyone. Yeah. And now the recruiters are like, oh yeah, so you super qualified. You don't just have the skills, you understand the industry that you're even going to be selling to. So you stand out. So those are things that people don't look at. But one of the things that we have, so of course we have a lot of trainings to teach people, no matter what their background is, on how to actually sniper mode, find the companies they're a top candidate for. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why we've been able to help so many people. But on top of that, through our network with recruiters and hiring managers, we have the job placement assistance, where on the back end, the recruiters and hiring managers whose companies are mass hiring, they're taking our graduates of our program and they are providing not just internal referrals into their company, they're actually doing coaching on how to actually win the job through the interview process. Literally breaking down all the steps of the interview, telling them, okay, this is what they're looking for culture-wise. These are the questions you're going to get in the interview. Give this answer like this, like breaking down everything. Now, of course, I want to be clear. They're doing this because the people we're sending them, the people that do our program, they're already qualified. Knowledge-wise. Correct. It's just, again, that gap that people are missing is that they get in the interview, and even if they know how to answer a question, they don't know how to answer it the specific way the company wants. Correct. You know, it's almost like, dating, if you're dating a woman where every woman likes flowers. So let's say your girlfriend, your wife, whoever, let's say she's like, oh, you should get me some flowers. Okay, she'll be happy if you get her roses. But eventually, she's going to tell you, hey, by the way, lilies, I prefer lilies over roses. So roses are the general standard. But when you get specific to the woman, she will tell you what she specifically likes. Yeah. Likewise are these companies where you can do, because I see a lot of people paying for like interview coaching and stuff. And it's like the interview coaching is like knowing they're going to teach you, okay, get a woman roses. But within our job placement assistance, the recruiters are teaching people specific to the company, and they actually get to choose 2 companies out of our list of companies. So they get 2 sets of recruiters, 2 sets of hiring leaders at the companies that are training them. And they're not just, it goes beyond just the regular fluff of, okay, this is how you answer this question. No. this is how our company likes you to answer the question. Answer it like this with these specific words.
Yeah.
And so it's really setting people up for success.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And thank you so much for doing this, because this part of recruiting, I feel like the other side of the table has been doing this for years. Yeah. They've and I've worked in Silicon Valley, so I've seen a lot of white people, Asian people, and nothing wrong with my Indian people also. Yeah. But the influx of access that they got is because they're getting this insights that you are offering. Mm-hmm. And the mind-blowing thing is, it's not like, I'm not qualified. I know that I need roses. I'm bringing roses. I brought roses the last time. But they didn't tell me that I need to bring them lilies.
Exactly.
They didn't tell me that. Yeah. If only they told me that.
Yeah.
So that service, fire. Give them a round of applause for that. And if you are looking for more information, we're going to have links in the description below. I want y'all to follow my guy. He is on a trajectory that I've been following for a while. And let me tell you, every time I see you peaking up even more, peaking up even higher. So keep doing what you're doing, my brother. Man. Keep doing it. Keep doing it exactly the way that you do it, and do more of it. Because we need to see it. Our people need to see it. As soon as we see it, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
So cue up the music, D Hustle. We over here supposed to be only 15 minutes. And my Cyrus got us here 35 minutes dropping gems. My guy. So I want to say, first of all, thank you so much for pulling up Backstage with BobbyD. Thank you so much for hosting this great event. We're here at the Black Wealth Summit 2025 here at Florida Memorial University. Where we at, D Hustle? Miami. He's about to go to the beach. I got to go take him to the beach before he gets all upset.
But before we leave, for our audience, how do they find you, if in case they need to find you?
Yeah, definitely. So the platform is Tech is the New Black. Tech is the New Black. You can find us everywhere. We're on all audio streaming platforms, video podcasts. You can see us on YouTube. I live in South America. I'm in Colombia and in the Dominican Republic a lot right now. So actually, I mean, check out our content. I'm actually going to start vlogging in those different countries, where I'm going to be streaming, vlogging, answering questions while people get to see the culture and get to see what's going on in these countries. Because again, it's like, it's cool to make money, but the beauty is that, you know, in some spaces you can live like me, where you're able to actually work completely remote, live in a different part of the world. And when you get in a bag, you can afford to live anywhere, because it's very few places that are as expensive as America.
Facts. Keep it up, my brother. Keep it up. Big inspiration, man. Definitely keep tuning in. We got more episodes coming up. If you missed anything for the conference, if you attend, it was free. We got you. But if you did not attend, I need y'all to rewind. Press that rewind button. Check out my guy Cyrus. And definitely holla us here at the Tech Hustle. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Right, D Hustle?
Yes, sir.
All right, now. Holla at your boy. It's Bobby D.